Hey everyone, good morning. I'm Adam from the Brevard is Best team with Smart Coastal Realty, and I'm sitting next to Jennifer Kline with the mortgage firm. This morning we're going to go over the home buying process. So without further ado, I want to let Jennifer introduce herself and tell you guys a little bit about the mortgage firm.
Hi everyone, Jennifer Kline here with the mortgage firm West Melbourne. The mortgage firm is an amazing local company here in Brevard County. The mortgage firm is made by loan officers for loan officers, and what that means is we just get things done quickly. And we've been in business since 1996. We have a super great stellar reputation here in Brevard County. We offer all sorts of loan programs, your traditional, conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, and we also have a lot of non-QM products like non-mortgable condos, bank statement loans, and we actually have 7 different down payment assistance programs out there for first-time home buyers and even some for non-first-time home buyers. So we pretty much have anything that's going to help you purchase your home.
So Jennifer, we can both agree that the home buying process can be very daunting to many.
Yes.
There's a lot of document submission. It can be very stressful. There's a lot of money on the line.
Absolutely.
And life still has to go on. Say I'm ready to pull the trigger. I want to throw my hat into the market and I want to buy a home. I've been saving up, I've checked my credit score, I've done all the research, I have a ballpark figure of what I think I can afford. What is your recommendation I should do to get the home buying process started?
Well, the first thing that you would do when shopping for a home is contact an amazing real estate agent like yourself, Adam. Your real estate agent is going to have all of the resources available to you. They are professional. They have probably worked with hundreds of professionals, know who's the best in the business. So they're going to really be your liaison and your guide throughout the entire process. So first, find an awesome real estate agent. At that point in time, they'll probably connect you with an amazing local lender like myself to start that home loan qualifying process. That's the first most important step. You don't want to start searching for a home before you know what you can get approved for. That's probably the worst thing that can happen is, you go look at a home that's listed for $450,000. By the time you fall in love with it, and then by the time you talk with a loan officer, you're only approved for $350,000. So you really want to just get all your finances in a row. You're going to meet with a loan officer, do an application, get pre-qualified. That way you at least know where your budget is and where you stand at that point in time. And then once you have that, you'll be ready to go and start your home buying process.
So Jennifer, you mentioned a pre-qualification as part of the first processes. Also, eventually they will need a pre-approval as well. Can you, for our buyers out there, can you break down the differences between the two and the advantage one might have over the other?
Absolutely, Adam. There's definitely a difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. I always tell my clients a pre-qualification is what you tell me and a pre-approval is what you actually show me on paper. Having a pre-qualification, when you call your loan officer, they're going to go over the application process with you, get some information from you verbally, like a 2-year work history, your social security number, date of birth, run credits, go over your assets. So we'll get all that information verbally. We can use that information in order to do the pre-qualification, get a letter out so you can start shopping, just kind of based on what you told us. But once you actually send over your documentation and everything has been verified is when we can actually issue the pre-approval. So like I said, the pre-approval is what you show me. If a letter goes out with the pre-approval and your income has been verified, your assets have been verified, that just lets the seller know and your real estate agent on the buyer side know that you are completely pre-approved. There should be no hiccups with your loan process and that you've done your due diligence up front before starting your home search. So having a pre-approval actually puts you above anyone coming in with a pre-qualification because they know you've already gone past the majority of collecting the documentation and sending it in, which just makes the loan process once you're actually under contract go super smooth and quick. So you always want to try to get your pre-approval done as quickly as possible. If you send in documentation with us, usually it's reviewed the same day and we can issue your pre-approval the same day that you send us the documentation. So it happens that way.
So now that you guys have your pre-approval from Jen, now the fun starts. We can actually go home shopping. Once you find your perfect dream home and we get under contract, now comes the true fun part, which is the mortgage application process. So Jen, if you don't mind, can you explain what that entails to the buyer?
Yep, and after you actually go under application with your beautiful new home, what you'll do is make official loan application. Per your contract, you actually have 5 business days to make application with the lender once you have signed an official contract where all parties have executed it. On the day that we get your contract over, Adam will be sending it over to us. We'll give you a call. We'll go over all of the loan process details. We'll get your rate locked in. We'll go over all your closing costs and what that's going to look like for you, and just give you a step-by-step breakdown. One of the main things you'll do first is you'll have an inspection that Adam will schedule for you. Then we do things on our side for the loan application, like order appraisal. We will send it to loan processing for an initial review before going to underwriting. Your loan processor will be your best friend through the process. They'll be the liaison between you and your underwriter. Of course, your loan officer is always involved, but it takes a village to get a loan closed. Luckily, I have the best team here at the mortgage firm West Melbourne. Once that processor reviews your loan application, your loan will be sent over to underwriting. The underwriter will do an initial review of your documentation that's been sent over. Once that review is completed, we get something that we call a conditional loan approval. Conditional loan approval is basically saying this loan has been approved, usually with these certain contingencies on there of the appraisal coming back. If they requested additional documentation from you as the buyer, there'll be certain things that title will need to do as far as ordering the survey, those types of things. Once all of that information is gathered at the end, we can submit it for final approval. And then once you have that final approval, you get your clear to close and you can move to closing day, which is the best day ever.
So we've gone over the process that it takes to get pre-approved. Can we also dive in, Jen, to the documentation needed for the mortgage loan application process and what the buyer can expect to provide to you?
Really great question. We can go over that documentation. It will actually be different for everyone's financial background, but generally what you're going to need to provide to your loan officer is your last 2 years W-2s or 1099s, your last 2 years tax returns, and if you own a business, your business tax returns as well. If you're self-employed, generally depending on the time of year that you're purchasing, you'll provide a profit and loss statement for your business. And then things, if you work like a W-2 hourly position or salary position, you'll provide your last 30 days worth of pay stubs. Generally, you'll need to provide your last 60 days worth of bank statements. Be prepared if you have any large deposits within that last 60 days to provide proof of where those large deposits came from. You'll also need to provide a copy of your driver's license. And then just depending on where any additional income's coming from, Social Security, pension, if you own any other properties, you'll have to provide additional documentation for that as well. Just be prepared if your loan officer does ask for documentation, get it to them as quickly as possible. That's the only way that we can ensure that your loan closes on time and everything moves efficiently, is if you reply to our request as soon as possible. If there's ever any questions too on what is needed, just reach out to your loan officer or that processor and they'll go over everything with you.
So Jen, once we get a final approval and a clear to close, what is the final step to getting to the closing table?
Well, the final step is actually the best step, maybe the most stressful step too for the buyer. You know that you're going to be signing over your life for the next 30 years. But we make it as painless as possible. So what will happen after you get your final clear to close, congratulations, you've done all the hard work at that point in time. You provided us everything that we need to get your loan final approval. At that point in time, what we do on our end is we actually work with the title company to balance your final figures. So we'll usually send out a closing recap email to you. I will call you to go over that final closing disclosure, all your final charges with your loan, the amount that you need to wire to the title company. I generally provide you with the title company's information so you can schedule title if your real estate agent isn't taking care of that for you already. So you'll work with them to schedule closing day. We get the final package out to you. Luckily here at the mortgage firm, we do what we call a hybrid closing. So majority of your documentation you are signing ahead of closing day. We do it all electronic, which is super convenient. Most title companies absolutely love us because we offer this service. And then generally on closing day, you only have about 25 documents that actually have to be hand signed from us day of closing. So generally it makes our closings go super quick and smooth, maybe 20-30 minutes tops, depending on the title company that you're working with. And then once those final documents are signed, they generally upload them straight to our system. Someone reviews them within 10 minutes, we issue funding, and that's it. You own a house at that point in time.
The keys are in your hand. Absolutely. Jen, thank you so much for walking us through the mortgage loan application process. And guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to her directly. Jennifer Kline, mortgage firm, West Melbourne, or Adam and Nelson here at the Brevard's Best team with Smart Coastal Realty.